filled with peace and joy, love and light, peace and joy, love and light.
Happy Valentine's! Happy Valentine's Day! I didn't expect many people today because it's Valentine's Day. And I said everybody will be going out for dinner tonight. Do you celebrate it here? You'll go afterwards, will you? Yeah.
Time for both.
Time for both. Great. We just gave you some handouts. I've written a new book on sayings, but not printed yet. So I thought we'd just hand some of it out until the day gets printed. Ole very kindly designed it for me and designed the cover, so it's ready to go. And this one was on awareness. Be aware when you speak to someone harshly. You could change their whole lives. We have to learn to listen to the cries of the soul. God has given us many clues on how to find ourselves. We only have to open our eyes and be aware. Savor the taste of good moments like you would savor your favorite food, for they soon pass. Getting to God has been made so easy for this generation, but still we deny His existence. And His, hers, it existence, you know. So today I think we're going to cover quite a lot of that in the Bhagavagita. And this morning I gave out these handouts in our Hatha class. And may I read it? Excuse my Spanish. Everybody here speaks Spanish? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm the only one. I really must learn.
Pero si tú hablas español.
Pero muy poco. El día más bello, hoy. El obstáculo más grande, el miedo. La cosa más fácil, equivocarse. La raíz de todos los malos, el egoísmo. La distracción más bella, el trabajo. La mejor derrota, el desaliento. What does that mean?
Desaliento is when you're like not at peace. I think. No?
What does derrota mean? Carmen is a teacher. Derrota, ¿qué es? Derrota? Derrota.
Failure.
Okay. Los mejores profesores, los niños. La primera necesidad, comunicarse. Lo que nos hace feliz, ser útil a los demás. El peor defecto, el mal humor. El sentimiento más ruin, ruin. Yeah.
Mean person.
Oh, ruin is mean. Okay.
That's a new one.
El rencor. El regalo más bello, el perdón. Lo más imprescindible, el jugar. La sensación más grata, la paz interior. El mejor remedio, el optimismo. La mayor satisfacción, el deber cumplido. El deber. What does deber mean?
Duty well done.
Okay, thank you. La fuerza más potente del mundo, la fe. Las personas más necesarias, los padres. La cosa más bella del mundo, el amor.
Muy bien.
Thank you for listening to my Spanish.
And where's that from?
It's Mother Teresa.
Thank you. Yes.
And it's nice in Spanish.
Yeah.
It's beautiful in
Yeah.
Spanish. We'll make you copies if you want.
Yeah.
We made it for the class this morning. So if you want copies, just ask, because now I use my photocopier. And with all the donations, we bought ink and paper, so we can do it the cheapest way possible. so I can do photocopies. The first 4. The Blessed Lord said, I taught this indestructible yoga science to Vishavat, the sun god, who taught it to Manu, the father of humanity. Manu in turn taught it to the great sage Ishvaku. The yoga science was thus regularly passed from teacher to disciple over the years. Even the saintly kings knew it. But over a long time, Arjuna, the succession was broken and the teachings was lost. Now I am giving you the supreme secret of yoga because you are my devotee and friend. Okay, so here, what is Lord Krishna telling Arjuna? That from the beginning of time, this is the truth. I passed this knowledge to this teacher, who then passed it to Manu, who is the father of humanity. It's just like saying that it's gone through all the generations. Thank you. Are you telling me I got lipstick on my teeth?
No. Sorry, I was taking it.
Thank you. You never know, right? So anyway, he was saying this was going through the generations. I'm so glad I can make you laugh on Valentine's Day. It's great!
Having a romance with God, right?
Pardon?
Romance with God is on Valentine's.
Yes, romance right. As Paramahansa Yogananda would call it, divine romance.
Yeah.
You know, and so all he's saying is this knowledge has been passed through generations, right? It's nothing new. It's always been there, and people have always been lost. And he says, I'm giving you this secret of yoga because you are my devotee and friend. Now, devotee and friend is really very important, those 2 words, because when you are a devotee of the spiritual path and you make the universe or God or whatever your friend, then you will receive all the information you need. It really is very clear when you hear it in Lord Jesus' words. Ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open to you. But first you have to be a devotee. Have faith that there is something far more and a friend to that faith. All right? And Arjuna says to him, you were born long after Vishavat. How is it possible that you taught this in the beginning? And Lord Krishna answers him, you and I have taken many births, Arjuna. I know them all, but you do not. The truth is that I am eternal. I am not born. I never die. And I am the Lord of everything. Still, by controlling the elements of nature, I appear to take births by my power of illusion. In other words, what Lord Krishna is saying, I've always been there. We've always been there. But you don't remember. And probably because of Arjuna's karma, he can't remember, he doesn't have the vision. But Lord Krishna says, I do. I remember. And I've known all our births together. See, I am eternal, just like you are. I never die, I was never born. All this is like an illusion. It's a play. It's a play. It's an illusion. And then he goes on to say, when righteousness is lost and wickedness prevails, I appear on earth in bodily form. Now, here we have all the great saints and sages throughout the ages, right? It's not just Lord Jesus or Lord Buddha. There have been thousands throughout the ages. Some obviously have such high energy levels that it's been carried on through the generations. There are many who have great energy levels that maybe only work in certain parts of the world that we don't even know or hear about. But what he's saying here, that don't worry, whenever righteousness is lost, I will come. I meaning the form of goodness, the form of truth, the form of that which we have to save. Don't worry, it will happen over and over again. We will always be saved. And if you look throughout history, the Second World War, Hitler, right? Who thought the world would survive all that? How many countries were overtaken? And yet, in the end, look what happened. Good always comes through. Whenever the truth is lost, look at the 60s again, when people became extremely materialistic after the war. What happened? There was a new generation of people who kept on saying, no war, we want peace. We were speaking about John Lennon the other day on Saturday. I don't know if you watched the documentary of his life. Please do. It's wonderful. You know, and his song that he kept on trying to bring peace to the world, all we are saying is give peace a chance. And that was his mantra. You know, that was his mantras. But the politicians at that time were so petrified of this mantra. So petrified of him because he had, whatever a great man does, so everybody follows, right? So John Lennon had the power. And he didn't want the Vietnam War to continue. It was a useless war. Anyway, absolutely built on greed and the wrong reasons. And he wanted it to stop. And they knew that him being a great man, that he could shift consciousness. And he never caused anybody harm. You know, if you watch the documentary, it's actually wonderful. One of his ways of bringing peace to the world was calling all the press, the media in, and him and Yoko on a bed in their hotel room, lying together, hugging each other, and saying, making love, not war. Right? And we saw that. And you know, it was so effective because all the media put it up live to people at that time. And he was making a difference. That's why you had all the demonstrations and whatnot to stop the war. So, you know, I'm just saying that wherever there's unrighteousness, there is like an awakening in people, like now, right? For the last 15, 20 years, spirituality has been pretty dim, pretty dead. I mean, you talk about the spirit and you're really in Gaga land. I remember when I started yoga 20 years ago, they wanted to burn me at the stake for being a witch, right? In Gibraltar, she's a witch, you know. Thank God we don't have stakes these days, but I'm sure I would have been burnt. So they burnt me by letters and hate mail. Yes. But they didn't burn me because I just took it and threw it in the bin. I just didn't bother to read them. No point in reading things like that. But look at it 20 years later. Look at everybody developing, all these teachers, all these people developing righteousness, you know. And then look, people then again use the law, the lessons they've learned, like the science of yoga, which is so precious, which is so pure, and use it for commercialism. The last 15, 20 years. I mean, extreme, you know. You have all these self-made gurus everywhere and they pretend they know everything, no humility, and charging people like, I don't know, hundreds per session and calling it yoga. What's happened with them as well? Have you seen how many have closed down? I heard in Hong Kong, 120 yoga studios closed down. Do you see? Whenever it goes wrong, when people start to, and this is our problem, we start to use anything good information comes to us, rather than share it, we want to keep it to ourselves, and then exploit people and use people because we have this huge ego. So this is what we have to watch out in our life, that whatever we learn on the spiritual path is available to all, and everybody should have it, because they already do. You already are eternal. You are already never going to die. You already have the divine within you. All the yoga is supposed to do is awaken it in you. You know, remind you, that's all. Remind you, this is who you are. Don't forget. Don't forget. You know, but not to exploit you and make you feel smaller or of no consequence, because really we are all the same. I always say we're all going to end up in a box, some cremated, some buried, but in a box, you know. So really we are not much different. So we're not much different, and everything illusion. So, but isn't it nice to know that we will be saved, you know? And I'd like to read what Gurudev says here, because some of what he says is very beautiful. It's a promise given to us by the Lord. The Bible says God sent Jesus as the Son of God. Why couldn't God come himself? Nobody would recognize him. God doesn't even have a name. We say God or he, but who says God is he or she or it. God knows if I go as God, either people won't recognize me or they will be afraid of me because they don't know who I am. I can't just go as me because I am neither man, animal, or plant. I'm formless and nameless. How will they recognize me? So I'll just go to them in ways they can recognize me. That's why among human beings, he comes as a human being. When he decides to be in the midst of a buffalo, certainly he doesn't come as a human, he comes as a buffalo. Among pigs, he comes as a mother of pig. There are stories like that. We recognize him only when he comes as us. So, I think it's really, really lovely if you have the Gita and go home and read these 4 pages, because it is really very beautiful what he says, and the explanation of God is fabulous, and it makes you realize that when you do clean up your own act, then God is already there. It's not that you have to look for God anywhere or find God in places. You can go to 1,000 pilgrimages. How many people have gone on pilgrimages to India? Some come back so disappointed. Some think they found God and they realize soon after they can't deal with the world. You know, the best pilgrimage is within yourself, because you are it. It is already there. And we keep forgetting this main point. So if we bring up the righteousness in us, the best in ourselves, then there you are going to find God. And of course, whatever any of you do, when you work in that light, people will follow you. They can't help it, because that's our natural. Light will attract people. So here it's just saying expanding God in animal, plant, whatever form. And I really believe in this generation, I really believe it's a matter of everybody working together in a team. I don't think it's I, you, he, she, it. I think we need to work together as a team, because the world is in a very horrible place at the moment, unfortunately, in the sense of greed, and look what it's done. We've destroyed so many things. So if all of us work collectively with light in our minds and blessings in our minds and thinking of the highest, we can shift energy. So I think this time round, God is really coming in all of us, so we can make a big difference quickly. And I'm not the only one to say that. Funny enough, the other day I was reading a book by Subramaniam Swami from Hawaii, very elevated soul, and I was really very surprised to read in one of his last pages that he was saying that now has come a time in this generation. He passed away maybe 8 or 10 years ago. In this next generation, that people no longer can work with one master, because it's going to be very difficult to find that master, but all people are going to work together to bring the light, to go back more quickly to the light. And when I read that, I was like, oh wow, thank you. This is exactly my view, and I've really felt that very strongly after our Gurudev left the earth, because many people ask me, why didn't he leave? Because normally when a guru leaves, he names one particular disciple. He didn't leave. He didn't name any other guru, because there wasn't. It wasn't. It was a group of people working together to bring up the teaching. You know, it's like Jesus' disciples. There were 12. It wasn't one person. He was the one with that supreme gift. And the 12, but how important were those 12 to give us the teachings? Without those 12, the teachings wouldn't be here today. Whatever it is, wherever churches have gone wrong or religions have gone wrong, it's never been because of the teachings. It's the misuse of the teachings. You know, it is the misuse that people have used it to control and bring fear. And this is why when you become strong in yourself and you really understand that this energy is everywhere, nobody can take you into fear mode. They can't threaten you. They can't frighten you because you know that you know the light is within you. And that's what's important to know. So anyway, here it goes, and let's continue. Look at this. When people die who truly know me, instead of taking another birth, they come directly to me. Many enter my being directly because they're free from passion, fear, and anger, because they take refuge in me, and because their hearts have become purified through austerities that led to wisdom. Here he is just saying, when any of us die, if we have really understood who we are, if we really understand we're spirit, and we don't get so worked up with all our physical stuff, what will happen? When you lose your body, because you have no desires left, no anger, no fear, no worry, oh, you become one. You become one with the highest. So you go right to the top. You don't have to worry about coming to earth again, going through all these lessons. But if you have desires, it means that you need another body and you will come back to earth. Because the desires means you still want things in your life that you haven't received in another life. And that's no problem either. Because if you have the desires, you're eternal. You have millions of lifetimes to go there. It's only when you're fed up and had enough that you'll say, I don't want to come back again. So if somebody asks me, I love life and I don't mind coming back again and again, I said, fine. So you just buy insurance, do good, be good, so next time around you'll have a good life like you have this one. But funny enough, that same person who told me that 5 years later told me, oh Nalanie, I'm totally wrong. This happened, my husband's cheated on me, this has happened, we've lost money in our business, I don't want to come back again. I said, I don't think it's up to you. So, anyway, I was teasing her, it's life teaches us lots of lessons. My feeling is, we don't know, none of us know. All we can do is live as peacefully as we can and as happily as we can, and what we need to know will be given to us, because when you have a clear mind and you have a good heart, you will be guided. You will always be guided. And you know you are guided because you feel, like you said, you feel that divine romance. You fall in love with what we call God. But while you're wrapped up in, I need this, or I need this woman, or I need this man, or I need this house, you're wrapped up in that. So even though that love is inside of you, you haven't made time for it. So you haven't become a devotee and a friend of that love. So you've never experienced it. So you think all there is outside. But if you can make friend with that love and experience it, then the outside becomes magnified in its beauty. Then you can have whatever you want and enjoy it all. As the Bible says, seek God first and all its righteousness, and then everything else will be added on to you. But we seek things first, and for me, God is peace and love. Last, we don't make ourselves whole. We make ourselves victims. We always are needy. We want this, we want that. I want you to be like this, I want to be like this. Always wanting, 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 and not just having time to sit down and think. All these wants are not making me happy. So if I want all these things and they're not making me happy, why am I wanting them? Let me let it go. Let me use this time to fall in love with who I am, the light. Everybody tells me the light is within me. Let me use this time to sit with this light. Maybe some people will pray, some people will have conversations, some people will go into nature, some people will watch the sunset, some people will listen to music, some people will read, and then that knowledge will come in. And then you realize that you are very firmly grounded. And then whatever comes as a gift. Whatever goes, you say, thank you, I had a great gift, time to let it go. There's no clinging, there's no fighting. I had it like this, why I want it again. But even if you have it again, you're going to have the same problems. So what do you want? The desires are so strong that they keep you in the same cycle. So you have to ask, what do you want first and foremost? And if you choose peace as your highest goal, everything else will follow. Your relationship will work, everything will work. I have seen where there's a lot of arguments, money goes, health goes, everything goes. Where you have harmony, there's more peace and love, everything grows. It grows. I've seen it again and again and again. There is a song that says, united we stand, divided we fall. Divided we fall. Even on the spiritual path, if you're working on your own, it's very difficult. But when you're all working together as a family, Sangha, as the Buddha says, then there is a force, there is a strength in you, because you're all bouncing light off each other. That's what's happening. You're recognizing that light. And that's why when you don't recognize the light, when you're angry, when you're fearful, when you're full of worry, you're miserable, because you're not in the light, you're in the dark. You are in the dark. It's not that God took away the light from you. You chose to be angry and miserable because you didn't get something you wanted to have. So you decided to be in the dark. There's no God punishing you. You have to be in the dark. You are communicating with the divine all the time. And we communicate with everything. When you don't respect money, it goes. You know, you need to respect things in life. And they react to you. I'll give you an example. When I was leaving my little apartment, La Noria, which I loved to bits, I think just 1 month or 6 weeks before I was leaving, things started to break down. Water leakage here, another problem there, another problem there. And then I sat down and I said, I'm going to think, why is this happening? And I go, my goodness, my house is really sad. I'm leaving it. Honestly, I could feel that from the house. And I said to her, oh, I pray that only a good owner will buy you and you'll be really looked after. It's time to make changes and you'll be okay. I'll look after you until you are bought. And I was telling you the other day, I go every week and check it, or every 2 weeks and check and make sure it's okay. And the day I said that, the very next day, somebody came to my house for consultation, and I said, oh, I have a little leak here. No problem. 2 seconds, everything was fixed. And after that, nothing leaked again. And the house was crying. It was sad. Do you know, you watch that in your life. And I observed this. There was a time when me and my husband in business were not getting along, arguing a lot. Right? And business wasn't going well, so we started arguing more, and you know, it's that cycle that happens, right? And the more we argued, the worse things got. And then when I got home, you know, I said, now what? The irons broke down, the washing machines broke down. Oh no, it continues. It's like you attract anger attracts the house and everything starts going. And then instead of understanding it at that time, which I didn't, it's only later on I did, I realized later on that the reason why we went through that horrible period, everything was a bad luck, the car tire would burst, accident, bad luck, because there was no unity. We're arguing, blaming each other for the bad luck. And it was our own minds that
was your
invited.
mantra.
That's right. So things got wrong. And of course, when we argued, the house could feel that, the energy. It's noisy. The energy is noisy. We're moving a lot of vibrations around. Things are going to feel it. Also high energy. You know, we bought a clock here. I don't know how you know. After one day, it didn't work. Shanti took it back to the shop. And we took it back to the shop. And the shop tried it there. It was perfect. Brought it back. It didn't work.
Again? Really?
Again.
No.
Again. Yeah, right? Isn't it true? So, she took it home. She's going to try it at home. She worked at home. Nalanie, it works in my house. I'll bring you my clock. She brought me her clock.
And this was working here.
No. After 24 hours, the battery was so overcharged that it went off. She put another battery, working fine from Tuesday with the Hatha class. For Saturday, no problem. We had the workshop on Saturday, didn't we?
Yeah.
High octane. Saturday was like this, right? Vibrating. Clock stopped.
Right.
It's got a new battery today.
We put a new battery in, and it's working. And we just have to look at energy, what it does. I think the energy is very high. Also, my watch, my other watch, my silver watch, also came in for Hatha class, 5 to 11. Stopped. I came at 5 to 7, stopped at 5 to 11. I went to my house, I put it on, changed the time, maybe worked. Came back the next day to clean. Broke down the battery. I had to go to Gibraltar to get a new battery. Do you know, you have to laugh. Energy. Energy speaks to us, you know. And we had Victor. Do you remember Victor, the school teacher, once came, one of his first talks to our centre in Gibraltar. And he came to the centre with his phone, no saldo, no battery, finished, right? We looked at it, no battery, put it in his pocket, no need to turn it off. So he told his girlfriend at that time, no battery in my phone, we'll call your mom from your phone later or something like that. So of course when they finished the whole session, he went out, 5 sticks, recharged. And he came in and told me, my phone got recharged. He showed he couldn't believe it. And since then, he started to come. And then he came to our Sevilla retreat because he just couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. You know, so it was quite funny. Sometimes we get some wonderful things that give you faith. And I must tell you this story. I don't know if I've told you, because it just remember this story. Many years ago in Gibraltar, it was August 18th. I remember the date. Isn't it funny? Gurudev left the earth August 18th, 19th, just going into the 19th. Very early in my teaching, we were about 15 or 16 people. I was giving a talk. And suddenly, there was this huge seagull. You know, and if you know where a centre is in town, why would a seagull come in through the doors, down the hall? You were there.
I remember, yes.
Yeah, down the hall, and it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. And that time my secretary was called Sheila, and she was going to shoo it away. I said, don't. It was incredible, because I was sitting in front of the altar. There we have a step. Seagull passes everyone, goes to the yantra, the table, bows at it, goes behind me, and goes out by itself. I mean, we were like, I've never seen that happen before. Honestly, 15 people, so I'm not lying. And we go, oh, wow, what was that, right? And of course the secretary, it's going to hurt you. I said, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't do a thing. And anyway, so I was telling this story a few weeks later to another group of people. So there was a woman there who lost her daughter in a car accident. Already 3 years I'd been seeing her, and she still couldn't recover. Her daughter was only 17. So she came to me that day when I told this story, and she said to me, "You know, Nalanie, I just want a sign like that, so obvious that my daughter is okay. I just want a sign like that." And I said, "Okay, ask for it," without thinking. I said, "Okay, ask for it." The following Tuesday, because those days I used to teach nearly every day, the following Tuesday, she comes in later than everybody else. She came late from work, and she leaves her shoe, rather than in the shoebox, which we have in Gibraltar, right outside the door, outside my office. She didn't want to, she knew she was so late, she felt rude. So she came in, I nearly finished the talk, everybody left, and then she comes in to me in the hall, crying, with this bird in her hand. I said, "Oh, what a sweet bird." And the bird is, normally when you hold a bird, they shake a lot. I don't know if you know that. Not shaking, she's crying. I said, "What's happened?" And then I go, "Oh, bird."
It's shoes.
The sign.
Yeah.
It was
The
in the shoe.
bird was in
her shoe.
her
Really?
shoe.
Yeah.
Her shoe.
Wow.
And she came in crying, and she said, "Do you remember last week I told you I wanted such a sign?" I said, "I wanted a bird."
Oh.
And she got it in her shoe. And I said, "So what are you going to do with the bird?" The bird was so peaceful. She said, "I am going to go out the front door. Thank God that my daughter is safe, and I'm going to let her free." And that's what she did. It was quite something. Yeah? You were there too. Some of the things that I've seen in my life are quite something. The power she invoked, the desire to have that happen to her, and it did. And the next line, the next one, Sloka 11. "However people sincerely call on me, I come to them and fulfill their heart's desires. They use many paths to reach me." Now listen to that. However, people sincerely, so it has to be so sincere, call on me, I come to them, I will come to them, and fulfill their heart's desires. They use many paths to reach me. And here I'd like to read Gurudev's saying, just 3 lines down. Maybe I start from there. It might sound philosophical, but we can make it a little clearer by saying that God, the Supreme One, the Incarnation, is not a person. Then what is God? Simplest to understand is that God is the peace in us. We are born with joy. We are peace and joy personified. We are purity personified. Unfortunately, we seem to be ignoring that. We're ignorant of our own true nature. So we run after things to make us happy and to find peace. Behind all our efforts, our basic motive is to find happiness and thus to find peace. All our actions are for that good. They need not be religious. We're all working towards that happiness. Even all these wars, fights, and competition are ways people are looking for happiness. Even when somebody steals something, he thinks he's going to be happy by stealing it. So the ultimate motive behind all our actions is to find that peace and joy. Unfortunately, many don't realize that I, the big I as God, as peace, am already there in them. So, when you have that great faith and that devotion, and you really desire something that is not selfish, because look at her desire. Was it selfish? No. She wanted to know if her daughter was okay. She wanted a sign. She'd lost her only daughter. Car accident overnight. She just wanted to know how she felt at the last. Was she at peace? Sincere. Well, 1 week later. I mean, that is really, I've never seen anything so obvious as that. No, that's not true. Since then I've seen many. There was also another woman. I remember we were in Portugal and she was going to get married to this man. And he was a little like spirituality, I'm not sure. But you know what? I'm coming to this retreat because I love you and I'm doing it for you. Right? So it was that arrogance and was that behavior in him. And when I saw them together, I quite laughed, Anyway, I did a meditation in that retreat in Portugal with Gurudev's photograph, which we'll do here maybe next week. And I'll bring it in here. And we did a meditation with this painting that I had. When he came out of that meditation, he was in tears. And he said, I am so sorry. I am so sorry that I thought all this was a lot of rubbish. I came in arrogant. I came in thinking I was doing this for my girlfriend when she marries me. Forget it. But I have had an experience of God that I've never experienced in my life. And I don't know what to say. I just feel so humbled and so ashamed of the way I felt. I said, you don't need to tell me. I don't mind. Tell your girlfriend. Anyway, they did get married and I was asked to do their blessing in Portugal. It was really very lovely. They had a beautiful blessing on the beach and they had built a lovely arch of garlands outdoors just above the beach. And you go down to the cliffs and they had a lovely restaurant right next door. It was very beautiful. We had a very beautiful, and in fact the song that they chose to come in on was Gurudev by Rasma. It was Guru. Of all the songs they chose that one because it affected him so much. He said he made him Gurudev his Guru. It's odd how these things happen. You just don't know,
Would you mind sharing that story about the butterfly when your husband was, I think he was ill, right? And you kind of asked for a sign.
Oh yeah, I still have that butterfly in my temple.
If it's not too long.
Oh no, I'll make it shorter, should I? Okay. When my husband had cancer, and of course the doctors always tell you stage 4 there's more hope, but we know. But when you get to stage 4, I knew, right? But everybody tells you miracles, this, that. So, and when you're in such an emotional state, when it's your own husband, you really, even though you know, you don't want to know, or you hope you're wrong in what you know. So I remember it was the 8th of December. He died 23rd. Oh no, maybe a bit before. 7th of December, sorry. And I had said, dear God, I really, really need to know whether my husband is going to make it or not. Because now I'm telling him to try, and I can see it's a lot of effort. I keep telling him to try, forcing food down him. But if I think he's going to go, then I will do it totally different. I will let him go, I will prepare him, I will talk to him what he needs to speak. I'll be his counsel. I need to know. And I said, but I want a very clear sign. And the sign I want is a large, bright butterfly. So clear, right? Was my request. I go to Shanti Song the next day with these Sangha members, some of them. And Bhavani from Gibraltar said, oh, Nalanie, you received this envelope from Gibraltar as a gift. I brought it for you. So we went home. I thanked them all because they were all helping me cook and bringing me dinner every night so kindly. All of you were so kind while Shanky was ill. Anyway, next morning, I'm sitting at breakfast. I opened this envelope, and you know what I got? A bright fuchsia sequined butterfly from somebody at that time who I didn't know very well, who's now become a great follower, devotee, the one I'm going to go to Cornwall to do the retreat. And it was huge. I couldn't get a bigger sign. And I asked her why she had sent that to me. She didn't really know me that well. And she said she was driving her car down the street and she saw this butterfly and she said, I have to buy it for Nalanie. And she goes, oh, but Nalanie, I really struggled with it. It was this English girl buying her this bright, beautiful butterfly, you know. She struggled with it. Apparently she went in, out, and she finally said, I'm going to get it.
Wow.
And send it to me. And that was my sign. So I knew. So thank God for that sign, because after that I told everybody to stop bugging my husband. And if he wanted to have beer at 6 o'clock, if it's the only thing he could drink, he's going to have his coronita. And no ugly medicine, no pins, no needles. I told the doctor, no more making water coming out from his heart, tubes coming from it. No more. I'm taking him home. I said, can you fix it or not? Oh, maybe one more chemo. It's falling apart. Look at his legs, doctor, I said. But that was my sign to be really strong. So I could tell, and he said, but how, going home is going to be hard. I said, well, that's my choice. And then he was so ready to die. So you know, when you ask not for yourself, or even for yourself, for something greater, for a greater good, sincere, it's pure, it's a pure thought, it doesn't hurt. What's a perfect action? One that causes no harm to anyone and some benefit to someone, including yourself. It was a perfect request. I got it. Not the very night if I had opened it, but the very next day I opened it and I had my answer. So like that in life, so many people when I've seen when they're really sincere, because this guy who saw this picture and had this experience, his girlfriend at that time had such a great desire for him to just one glimpse. That's what she told me. One glimpse of something divine, so he could just know she wasn't crazy, you know. She got more than what she asked for. And it's quite phenomenal how that happens, you know. So yeah, thanks for... So these things in life, when you hear them, they give you much hope, and here it's confirmed. It's so confirmed, and this is so many thousands of years ago. Whatever you ask for sincerely, you will get. That's why when I hear, when they're this sincere, you know, very beautiful, some of them are very beautiful desires, you know, and it comes from the heart. I really want to do this, to better my life, to better people. No problem, you get it. It's so sincere. And then you put in the time, and you put in the effort, it all happens. And that's why sincere is the magical word. If you are not sincere, it doesn't happen. Remember what I said on Saturday's Teachers Workshop? You have to be extremely clear. Yeah? Got it? Clear. I was so specific. I asked for a sign that was so clear. And another time in India, I'll tell you as well, I was in a dilemma about something. And I said to God, if this is not meant to be, I will see an elephant with pink on it. I go to the temple, I see an elephant. I guess what's painted on the elephant? Pink paint, all these fancy, you know, Indians do that on the elephants, they paint them all in pink. Now, what a crazy request. Isn't it crazy? I mean, it couldn't be more obvious.
It's like you're playing with God.
Yeah, it could. I was like,
Yeah.
and I think I told you, I told her, I told Lakshmi, and I told Chrissy, I have asked for this to be made clear. It's a pink elephant, and I go, elephant is pink. They saw it before me. Nalanie, the elephant in the temple, huge elephant in the middle of the temple, in pink. So be careful what you ask for, and you get your answers.
Great, if they're all that clear, then it should be.
It's so clear. It's so clear. And I didn't want to be so clear, you see. So that's why it was such an impossible thing. And it happened. But I didn't want that answer. But it was clear. So you know, in life it is like this. Sometimes it's not what you want, but at least the answer is there, so you do it for the better good of everyone. You know? And so know that when you are in that state of sincerity, never be afraid. You will get all the answers you need. It's the doubt that causes all the problems. And of course, sometimes the answers are very painful. They're not, I mean, both the answers I wanted, they were not happy answers. They were painful answers, but they were clear. At least I didn't wait another, if I hadn't got the answer from my husband, can you imagine forcing him to eat all these horrible things and he's going to die anyway?
Same result.
You know? Same result. But this way, but I read him all of the Bhagavagita Chapter 18. I gave him kisses all over his face every day, told him how much I loved him, how grateful I was for him in my life. So the only thing I'm going to really regret is learning not how to do accounts and driving. I'm doing that now, you know. So do you see, you have to be clear. So anyway, here you are. There your dreams will be satisfied, so don't worry. Is that too hot for you?
Is it, for you it is
It's
obviously.
a little stuffy, do you mind? Any questions? It's exciting. Have you had anything happen to you that you want to tell us a story like that? Anything so clear? So now start. Yes, you tell.
I was reminded of something I had forgotten all about. Years back, a colleague's husband was also dying of cancer, and they didn't really know what to do. And I knew him also quite well, and I offered him to send him Reiki every day as a comfort. And he didn't really, I did it on distance because he lived on the other side of Malaga. And he did receive it, which I also thought was like a preparation, if he could open up to things like that. So then after a while I spoke to him and I asked him how he was, and he said, well, I don't really know, but there's something strange happening because every day at the time that we have decided, my watch stops.
Wow.
And it kept on doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting. I forgot that.
Yeah, do you see?
Yeah.
Shows that you're very powerful for pattern of healing.
Wow.
Yeah, you have a powerful healing power. It's a siddhi. It's siddhis. The siddhis means power. It comes to all of us when your mind is clear. Everybody can do it. That's why when people come to me with all these problems, and even children, I said the best healers are your parents. Bring them in with you. And when the parents come in and the parents learn to do the deep relaxation on the child, the parents are the best healers. I said, I can teach you how to do it, but you learn to do your own healing. The other day somebody came in to see me, very worried about negative energies in her home, and she called an exorcist in, made her more scared and more frightened, and now she really couldn't sleep. So I said, what's the point of having a gift if it makes you so crazy? This other person, oh, you have a gift, maybe you should develop it. Oh, I'm so scared of it. So I said, you're crazy. Why would you want something that makes you so miserable? And so she said, you're right. And so I told her, well, the best person to heal your home now is you. One, who do you believe in? She said, Lord Jesus. I said, you just use, by the power of Lord Jesus, I command all of you to leave. Go to the light. But command it. Be clear, because that's what my master taught me to do, because I used to see things as well and get very frightened, you know. So I command you to leave. So, and then I said to her, then I want you, you're the best. She could call anyone. I said, no, you're the best person. I said, what you do is get a crystal glass and you put some water and do Om Trambakams or any prayer you want. With her, I said with the Our Father, because she didn't know the Om Trambakams. But that's what I tell most other people. And then I said, you sprinkle it all over your house. Power of water, we all know it, right? Sprinkle it. Wherever the energy is high, low energy cannot stay. It cannot stay. Because you built up. I said, then put on all your favorite spiritual songs, build up the energy, and keep saying the Our Father all the time. And I said, your whole life will change. And she said, but what about my gift? I said, obviously you're not ready for it. So just be ready first. She said, thank you. She left so relaxed. So she, oh, I can sleep tonight. So you sleep very well tonight. And the thing is, you see, you are your best healers. And you are the best people that can help people around you more than anybody. You know, you can call a doctor, you can call this, you can call that. But ultimately, if you just have the faith that God works through you, your instincts will be the best healer. And this is what I also taught my daughter with the special needs. All the doctors, this, irate, she's not going to walk, she's not going to talk, she's going to die soon, all this stuff. And I said, you know what? Go to them for blood tests and logical things that you need to know, right? Otherwise, heal her with your love and follow your instincts. Just follow. You're the best healer. And it's been proven. She's been the best healer for that child. And the doctors themselves are shocked when they see her. They are shocked. You know, love heals. But you have to know that. You have to know that. And many times she calls me on the phone, Mom, I don't know, should I do this, should I do that? What does your instinct tell? Mom, I don't... Listen to what your instinct is telling you. Listen. I shouldn't tube feed her. Then don't. Don't. 10 doctors are telling you to tube feed her in the stomach every night. Infection. This girl is so little. All the doctors are telling her you must. She's saying, Mom, I don't want to. Then I said, don't.
And just to extend, because once you start like that, it's just...
It's worse.
Yeah.
It's worse.
It's a
It's
process
worse.
of,
It's deterioration.
Of course.
She will stop eating from the mouth. You know? But now, the last few days, again, she stopped eating from the mouth. The old fears come back. What's happening, Mom? Talia is not, is putting all the food. Leave it. Leave it 3 or 4 days. Don't give it energy. Leave it. You know, it could be just a phase. Follow your instinct. Do you think you see a doctor? No. Then leave it. Follow your instinct. Do you see? Follow your instinct. No, Mom, I shouldn't see a doctor. Follow that. But you have to be very clear.
And very strong. We had the same with our children.
Yeah, you know. You have to be strong. Yeah? You have to, and the same strength you use with your children, you use on yourself. You use on yourself. If you're falling into victim, sorrowful, oh, my luck is bad, no! Heal yourself. If you can do it for your family, if you can do it for your kids, and if you can do it for your friends, you can certainly do it for yourself. Take love medicine for you. Talk about all the good qualities you have, how much magic you bring to anybody else's life, what you do to make things better. Look at all that medicine, that is medicine, and focus on that medicine. That you have served so many people in your life, and focus on that, and how you can help yourself through this difficult time. If you can help them, you can help yourself. Who is the best doctor for you? Who is the best doctor for you? Yes, really. Who else will help you? You know, people are getting so fed up. One doctor, another diagnosis, another diagnosis. In the end of it, loads of medicine. And after all that suffering, they die anyway. So, who's your best doctor? What do you want? Quality? Quantity? Be truthful to yourself. Be strong. It's hard, huh? It's hard. We live in a world where everybody tells us how to think. You know, follow you. Follow you. You know, when you follow yourself, maybe it is poison in the beginning, but it's nectar in the end. As the Bhagavagita says, what is nectar in the beginning becomes poison in the end. What is poison in the beginning becomes nectar in the end. Look at all the people who start on drugs and addictions. It's pleasure, but it ends up, poor Whitney Houston, right? Do you see? Everything in life. Everything.
It's true.
Everything. Beauty, fame, voice. But then weakness. Addiction. You know, a lot of people told me, oh, it's her husband made her use drugs. No excuse. You can say no. You don't have to become a victim.
You have your responsibility.
Yes. You can say, no, I refuse. Bye. Adios. You don't have to stick with nonsense. So, do you
But
see
we
the
do,
strength?
huh?
Hmm?
We do.
To please people. So people think we're good. So people think we are good. And do you really think anybody really cares? They soon get bored. They'll gossip about somebody else in a few weeks. I'm a good person. Think the whole world is looking at us. Everybody's looking at what I'm doing. I want to be a good person. I want them to think I'm a good person. Let them think you're horrible. Who cares? Does it really matter? They did it to Lord Jesus, didn't they? One day they loved him. And next day crucify him. The same people. They did it to Gurudev. There's a whole website on all lies about him. A whole website. Rubbish. I've known him so closely. All a lot of rubbish. They will do it. They've done it to Gandhi. They will do it. And they do it to these great souls. And we're worried what people are going to say about us, puny us, that we're so perfect, we can't make a mistake. What did it say in that thing? It's what is the nice thing to admit you have it's el perdón, to ask for, I'm sorry, forgiveness. No big deal.